Hey, everybody, it's David. Well, you have done it. You have decided to retire or maybe retire early. That is fantastic. And there are some things that I highly recommend that you should do in that 3 to 4 years before you get to the point of pulling the trigger to ensure that you have the best possible retirement. So that's what we're going to talk about today. I want to talk about 5 areas of focus or 5 must-dos that I recommend that you take care of before you pull that trigger and finally step out to freedom, step out to that fantastic thing that you have dreamed about for so many years, that time when you become finally retired. Are you ready? Let's talk about it. Hey, everybody, it's David at David in Progress, where we talk about financial independence, retiring early, and living your best life now from the perspective of someone who's a real guy out there working so hard to do all those things. Thank you so much for watching, for your comments, and especially for those thumbs up. I very much appreciate you. So, we're going to talk about 5 things. And of course, the number one thing before you pull that trigger is to completely understand your finances and have them in order. In order to do that, there's a few things that are critically important. One, you need to get a full grasp on your net worth. I find it blows my mind that there are many people out there who don't really understand their net worth, who have never created a net worth statement to get that clear picture of, hey, how valuable am I? And it's really quite simple. It's a matter of taking how much you owe and how much you have and putting the two numbers together, and boom, you know your net worth. And that is critically important. Another thing on the way is to understand your expenses. How much is this life costing you? I'm the first to say I am not a budget person. I love the videos of people who talk about their budget down to the penny, how much they're spending. I've never been that way. At the same time, it's really critical that you do it at least a couple times. And you don't need to do this more than 90 days. But in that 90 days, go into very deep detail about how much you are spending for your life. I think you'll be surprised. Most people spend more than they think, and they find categories on things that they're spending that didn't realize that they were. So for 90 days, take a 90-day challenge, whether you do it on your phone in a simple spreadsheet, if you do it on a piece of paper through a notebook, whatever works for you. Track every single expense for 90 days and then research it deeply to understand where that money is going and how you would pay for that or what you might need to adjust once you reach retirement. Now, remember, I mentioned earlier about net worth, and a big part of that is debt. And I cannot say too many times, I cannot be even more passionate about it, that I strongly believe that before you retire, you must be 100% out of debt. That includes the house. And the reason, you just don't know what's going to come at you once you retire. And the lower your expenses, the less you need to have in your savings. Also, the lower in your expenses, the safer you are for those unknowns that might pop up later. You got to create that margin between your essential expense life and your discretionary expense life. And the absolute best way to do that is to have zero debt, to not be beholden to anyone when it comes to debt. If you're getting close to retirement, you probably have a pretty nice little nest egg that you've been working on for many years. Now is the time to relook at it. For me, I was pretty obsessive about chasing returns, so I had a very aggressive portfolio. Well, in the last year, year and a half, I've worked to move things over to be a little less aggressive. It's very different to have that mindset from accumulation to actually preservation, and it creates a need for changes in how your finances are set up. And the last thing in the finance category, I think, is to get obsessive. I'm assuming you are. That's part of why you're watching this video, is you're trying hard to learn for the best tips on how you can have your best possible retirement. Absolutely keep doing that. Read the books, listen to the podcast, watch YouTube videos, and make sure it's a wide variety of ideas, people who disagree with each other. I think that's really important for you to have your own critical thinking skills to decide what strategy is going to be best for you. Key there is to not get caught up in analysis paralysis. By that, I mean, don't get so caught up in that you read one thing and then, oops, you change your mind. This is going to be the way to go. You read another thing, and then now you're changing your mind. This is the way to go. I am actually pretty terrible at that. It seems like every time I'm convinced that my strategy is the best, someone else comes with a different strategy. I finally just had to give up and say, this is what we're going for. If it doesn't work out, I can always adjust a year or two down the road. So beware of that analysis paralysis. The next thing we're going to do in our category is talk about be prepared for those oh shoot moments. I'm sure you've heard a lot about the importance of having an emergency fund in case those things come up once you reach retirement. Well, one of the best ways to take care of those oh shoots is to resolve them, take them out of the picture before you step into retirement. For example, if you are a homeowner, you might look around and see if there are some big ticket items you can take care of before you step out in retirement. We live in a house, a little bit of an older house. We made sure in this 5 years prior to early retirement to have the HVAC inspected. We ended up replacing it. We replaced all the windows in the house, and that was great to help reduce our overall utility costs. So think about those big things, those inevitable expenses that you might have in your life, and what things could you go ahead and spend money on now while you currently have an income? Don't forget your health. You most likely now while working have pretty good health, dental, and vision insurance. Make a visit to all those. Make sure you go to your doctor. I went to mine and said, treat me like a used car. Check me for everything that you possibly can. I went to the dentist and made sure that I had all those exams done. I went and got the new glasses and had my eyes checked. Just while you have that good health insurance, go ahead and make use of it. Go and have every single thing done, every possible test done that the insurance company will allow you. And it even is worth paying a little extra during this time to make sure you're not paying a lot more once you've retired and you're on a different health plan. You've examined all of these oh shoot expenses. You realize that you may have to pay for a roof one day. Perhaps you're 3 or 4 years away from wanting a new car. This is a great opportunity to establish and have set aside a sinking fund. Now, a sinking fund is different than an emergency fund. This fund is for a planned future expense, and you're going to set it aside and know that you have that roof, you have that new air conditioner, you have that new car, whatever it is that you perhaps don't need now, but you will need 3 or 4 years from now. You already have that money set aside and you are ready to spend it. It is not an emergency. You know you're going to need that roof, you know you're going to need that fence, and you have that money already set aside. A third thing here is to assess your mental health. One of the most difficult things when you move into retirement is that transition from that old life to your new retirement life. And I can tell you, if you were someone who was just full of a bundle of stress and your job was pulling you down and you had all this where you wanted to escape to this retirement, oh, what a deep breath you're going to take in that first few months. And what a sense of relaxation, what a sense of mental peace that you are going to feel. Over time, the real you will come back. Have you ever heard of the hedonic treadmill? That is the theory that we basically have a set level of happiness no matter what's going on in our life. We may have a temporary change, but eventually we'll go back to that level of happiness. So you want to do a bit of a mental assessment. Are you an introvert and you're going to be just fine being alone when you retire, because you've lost those work friends that you used to have? Are you an extrovert? Are you someone that needs the energy of a crowd, that needs people around you to make you feel good about yourself and your life? Perhaps you're going to have to think about those clubs you're going to need to join and the people you're going to need to be with once you have taken care of that first 6 months of relaxing and just enjoying your new life. I am someone who is innately positive. I am always trying to look forward in life, thinking of the good things that are going to come. At the same time, I need a plan. And so I have things written down to help me with that positive projection of what my future will look like. If you want to take care of your mental health, that is something that is really important. Having that vision for what you want out of retirement and what the future is going to look like for you. This fifth one is probably my favorite and something that we did in that time leading up to our early retirement, and that is retire before you retire. And by that, what I mean is, there's a point where you reach financial independence and you know your ability to retire is inevitable. You have that date in mind, you have that number in mind, Why not right now go ahead and start practicing retirement? I never took a vacation more than a week in all the years of working until those last couple years. And I started to take a little bit longer trips. And we started going to places that were on our bucket list before retirement. This is great because you get to practice those travel skills while you still have a job, while you still have paid vacation time. You often hear people that talk about hobbies that they want to do in retirement. They want to learn how to play the guitar or speak Spanish or do all these other things. Well, why not do those now? Wouldn't it be awful to pick up that guitar that you paid $1,000 for or whatever in retirement and realize that you kind of suck at it and you really don't enjoy learning it? Well, go ahead and do that now. Start exploring some hobbies on your way so that when you cross that bridge over, you can start having fun right away with those new hobbies that you want to do. And maybe most importantly, put all those things together in that 5 years and start practicing your future lifestyle. That lifestyle with less expenses, that lifestyle with more doing cool things, that lifestyle of being prepared for the oh shoot. Practice it now. Yes, there are going to be surprises, but the more you experience along the way, the better you're going to be prepared for whatever life will throw at you once you finally reach that joyous moment when you are retired and your life is 100% up to you. That's it. That is my list of 5 big things I think you should do as you prepare for retirement. What would you add to this list? I would love to hear from you. Leave a comment. Let others know what you would add, what you see as important to get done on your way to that journey to early retirement. Once again, thank you so much for watching my channel. Thank you for being part of this. Thank you for the thumbs up and the comments. I just can't say enough times how much I appreciate you and how I am excited to be on this journey with you as we strive to reach financial independence, retire early, and to live our best life now. Thank you so much for watching.